Good afternoon. My name is Donovan Carter. I'm here with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program at the University of Florida, and I'm in Washington, D.C. today on August 28th, 2021, and I'm here with...
Ashley Quiñones.
Donnie Williams.
Okay. So Ashley and Donnie, tell me, who are you here to represent today?
I'm here to represent my husband, Brian Quiñones, and he's my grandfather, so he's here with me.
Okay. Tell me what you're doing here today. What's going on?
Basically, I wanted to make sure that we had presence here on a national scale to represent my husband with other impacted families, just so we can be in solidarity together.
Okay. Tell me about Brian. Tell me about him.
So Brian, when he was killed, it was September 7th of 2019 in Richfield, Minnesota by 5 officers, 2 from Edina, 3 from Richfield. He was 30 years old when he was killed, and we have a 14-year-old son together. Me and Brian have been together since we were in junior high school. He was a barber. He worked for General Mills, the corporate in Chanhassen. He was a rapper. He had a lot of music out. His name is Bless the MC. He streams on all platforms. He was an activist, so he was doing police brutality songs or things that are up against the system, even like when Trump was elected and stuff like that. He was very vocal about protesting. And it's just, that's one of the things that's crazy to me as to how he died by what he fought against.
Can you tell me more about, or what you know about about the day of his death? What have you been told, or what do you know?
So I'm not allowed to speak about the exact day that into detail because we are actually in our case right now. But basically, he was supposedly being pulled over for a traffic stop, and they announced that he had a felony warrant, which is a lie. He didn't have a felony warrant. The car was actually registered in my maiden name. So there's no way that there was a felony warrant on that vehicle because they were anticipating to get Ashley Bismeyer, which is my maiden name, and he was the one that was driving. So the entire thing for the initial stop is actually there's no reason why they were involved with my husband that night. And basically, he was killed within 16 seconds of being demanded out of the car. And that happened in Richfield, Minnesota.
What do you want people to know about Brian? What do you want the world to know about Brian?
I would like everybody to know how godly and amazing of a person he was. He was very patient, so kind. He was a phenomenal father, an amazing husband. He took on the role of his father, the father role, because his dad was always in prison growing up. So he raised his brother and sister, and he took care of his disabled mother. He literally held their entire family together, including our own family. And he did not deserve to die the way that he did at all. And so that's why we consistently are out here fighting for him. And I'll let my grandpa speak on that too.
It's just, what happened was so wrong that nobody can sit home and just say it happened and let it go. So the reason for being out here is people need to know who Brian was and what Brian did and what Brian stood for, instead of what the police tell the world that he was, and what the media supports off of what the police tell him is just crap. So Brian was a great guy, and I'm a little bit biased in that because he's my grandson, but I knew Brian. This is just, it's earth-shattering, and our family has been devastated by it. So his son does things that he should be doing with his father, and it's just wrong that Brian's not here, and the way it was done is unacceptable. And you fight because it's just flat wrong, period. So.
Is there anything else that you guys want to say?
I would just like to say that for sure, being a wife and a mother of the children of the people who are killed by police, is extremely difficult because we also have to deal with, just the fact that people around us know who we are in our city. So like even with my son, like he gets bullied or every time that they see him, they're like, that's what your dad gets. They should have killed you and your mom too. Oh, and they destroyed his memorial site. And it's just like, I don't think people really pay attention to what all we actually have to deal with. And it's like everyone knows in a small town who you are and what happened. And so the fact that we live in Minnesota and George Floyd is from there and all the shit that happened in Minnesota, it magnified the amount of abuse that the families actually get to take. And then also the fact that we are from Minnesota where George Floyd happened and not a goddamn thing has changed. We haven't changed one bill, not one policy. Nothing has been established in favor of police brutality victims whatsoever since George Floyd died. Half the city is burnt and down in shambles. Protests are still happening literally on the daily, and absolutely nothing has changed besides I would say, their aggressions. They're actually murdering people. They're assassinating people like Winston Smith in broad daylight. And so I just would really like to touch on the fact that Minnesota, it's gotten worse. It hasn't gotten any better.
Anything else, Granddad, you want to say?
No.
Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so you want to